Welcome back to another episode on the Doughty podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you the qualities of being what is called a high vibrational leader, or how to develop qualities of high vibe leadership. So how to become a high vibe leader in general. This is something that I've been learning and kind of uncovering some of the shadow and different areas of my life, and especially over the last couple months now, definitely, because I'm getting ready personally to move into a new area of my life and start to do new things that I haven't necessarily done before, step into the unknown in a way. And right now, as I record this, I'm actually at this it's a virtual live event with Tony Robbins. It's called Business Mastery. It's like a $10,000 ticket event. Right now, I guess they're selling it for cheaper because it's virtual. But my buddy Victor and I, we had these. We're supposed to go live in person, but because that's not happening, we decided to do the virtual. And it's pretty much 5 days of learning all about learning more about your business, learning more about how to do certain things when it comes to like how to grow your sales, how to like have better marketing, how to become a better, there's these three different types of business owners. Well, no, there's a business owner. No. Yes. So just to clarify, there's something called an artist, there's something called an entrepreneur, and then there's something called a manager. Those are the three types of like qualities. And the problem is that a lot of times certain ones, like for example, my buddy Victor and I, we're both artists. Many people that make YouTube videos are artists. They're people that like the creative flow. They like, kind of channeling and connecting to the higher self like that, and bringing through that energy is a very artist type mentality. An artist likes the creative aspect. An artist likes the content and making new ideas. And a lot of content creators that you see on YouTube are artists. Now, the problem with just being an artist is that what do you a lot of times see in the spiritual community sometimes? You see these people that are amazing at making videos, but maybe they don't know how to grow a business. Maybe they don't know how to have the business to run a live event, or to have employees or people that help build that vision. It's very common, especially in the spirituality niche, when you see people that make YouTube videos, but that's pretty much it. And even many areas, not just spirituality, but that. And then an entrepreneur is somebody that likes to build businesses. Somebody likes to learn how to develop different systems. And then you have that of the manager, and the manager likes to manage people or stay organized, get projects done, stay on task. Now, the thing is that for example, when it comes to leadership, what I've had to learn to do is I'm an artist, and I've become also an entrepreneur. I've trained myself to become an entrepreneur. And I actually like being an entrepreneur. I like learning the systems. I went through and was an artist making daily YouTube videos for the first, I've made daily YouTube videos for pretty much 3 years in a row. And one thing that happened is that then I realized, hey, if I want to go full time and want to be in abundance, I need to learn internet marketing. I need to learn how to get my message out there. I need to learn how to have an email list. I need to learn all these technical things that, seemed kind of low vibe. I'm like, this is too much to learn. But I'm like, okay, I need to learn how to really embody this. And what I ended up doing is spending a year and a half learning internet marketing. I was literally listening to podcasts. I was reading articles, reading books that helped me understand more about this. And that was me taking initiative with it. And first off, when I went and decided to go full-time on YouTube by making daily videos, that changed my self-image. Then I went after learning internet marketing so that I could become abundant, so that I can create a system. I thought to myself, what if I had a video editor? I wouldn't have to edit all the time, and I could make even more videos. What if I had a customer support team that could help customers with things? What if I had this? What if I had that? And that kind of started to, then I applied it, and then I did it, and then I started to change my self-image again. I'm like, wow, I'm an entrepreneur. Somebody that just figured it out, put the intention and the vision out there, and then did it. That changed my sense of identity. I then realized that this is what I'm capable of doing. Now, with those three things, the artist, the entrepreneur, the manager. Now, the thing is I hate managing. It's my least favorite thing ever. Managing to me is just like, I don't like having to hold people accountable and have to like, I feel like partially, because when I manage, I'm very hard. Like I'm hard on myself. So I have very high standards on other people, and it doesn't always work out that well because, some people, I'm learning how to deal with that. But what I've realized is that I need, I'm hiring more people for my business, and a manager is somebody that would very much benefit me because that's not my strength necessarily. So what Tony talks about is like, you have to be very brutally honest with yourself, with the artist, the entrepreneur, and the manager. And when you get to the point to where you can hire the other out. First, of course, you have to take on all the different hats. I had to manage, I had to do the entrepreneur and be an artist all at the same time. And I've been doing that, but now I'm realizing I can hire out different things because I do not enjoy managing. Now I have an assistant, for example, that helps me manage certain things in my business, and that helps a lot. Now, the reason I'm sharing all this with you is because I think a lot of this is about awareness of how you work and not judging yourself. Like, part of me could have been like, oh, I don't like to manage, I'm not a leader. No, there's different aspects of being a leader. There's an energy that comes with leadership that's important, but understand that, this isn't just for people that have a business, by the way. This is just for people in life in general, but I'm explaining these three different things because it's under the context of the Tony Robbins thing that I'm at, and it kind of is what kind of inspired a lot of this. So the thing that I'm also learning is I've been doing a lot of shadow work lately. I had something else happen. I won't get too much into details of it, but I had something I was dealing with earlier in the year when it comes to, I don't want to give too much away. But basically, I was dealing kind of indirectly with somebody that really reminded me a lot of my ex-stepmom. Very narcissistic, and somebody that was like, I just had to deal with, right? And I realized something very powerful, and a lot of leadership is taking responsibility and remaining in your power. So basically, this person reached out to me, and I was like, okay, I will, for some reason, I actually reached back to them. Sometimes if I don't feel like it, I just kind of like let them be. Somehow this person got my phone number too, which is kind of weird. And I have no idea how that happened. But anyways, it has to do with, I don't want to give away too much necessarily. This person meant well. Let me say that too. This person meant well by getting a hold of me to clear up some stuff. It had to do with like the stuff that I was talking about earlier in the year where I had some videos get taken down and stuff like that because of me using a certain phrase. And in general, a couple years ago, I made some videos talking about a book, sent thousands of people to this book. And basically what happened is that I've put it all behind me, not dealing with it anymore. But then this person reached out again to clear things up, but also to there were some, I think, ulterior motives that were connected to that as well. And it made me very aware of my shadow in many ways. It was one of the most biggest breakthroughs I've had this year. I'm very grateful for it, actually. And basically what happened is this person reached out to me and is like, hey, if you want to go over some options, let me know. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? It sounded to me kind of like a threat or something like that, because the videos that got taken down unlawfully, first off. Somebody that was misusing what they think of as a trademark. It was 80 of my videos taken down. So I was like, okay. So I talked to this person, and I explained to them kind of how I felt about the whole situation. And they explained to me their perspective. And I thought we were making equal ground. And we kind of did. We kind of we're like, okay, let's soften this up. Let's just get on the same page, because there was such kind of negative energy coming from this organization, even though I've promoted the crap out of them. But because I don't even really know why. I think it's because basically what happened is I have a YouTube channel, and before I was on YouTube, before I was big on YouTube, I was making these videos on this book, and then I got big on YouTube, And just in general, the people that making content on this topic couldn't rank with my videos because I just had too much authority in this keyword. So because they couldn't compete with my because they couldn't really compete with my keywords and what I put out, they decided, okay, we're going to take down this guy's video. We're going to like get the trade. They got trademark years after I made these videos. And they said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take down these videos so that we don't have to compete with them. So to me, everything about it seemed like unjust, against freedom of speech. You know, I wasn't claiming the book was mine. I didn't claim I was the author. I was just talking about some of the ideas in it. Yet the videos got taken down, and that was their way of saying, oh, us as people that haven't been making, like, instead of like, hey, I'm going to get better at making videos so that our coaches and the people that talk about this content are going to like rank. Instead of doing that, let's just take out the one. You know, there's two ways to get ahead. One's to build like a tall building, and the other one is to tear down everyone else's building so that yours looks taller. That's exactly what happened. And to me, it was like 80 hours of videos. By the way, I have had so many people find out about this book have found out through me. Like, I'm not trying to be cocky here, but like, this book would not be as big as it is without the videos that I made on it. And I say that because I have so many people that are passionate about the book that reach out to me and say, hey, this kind of messed up that this is happening. I follow this process because of you, by the way. So it's very interesting. Now, why am I sharing all this? Well, basically, in this conversation with this person, I realized in a way that I was kind of being manipulated. I then agreed to doing something to kind of make up for it. And then they wanted me to keep like doing things. And what I became aware of is then they just kept texting me. And I'm like, hey, I'm at this, like, Tony Robbins, I'm at this business event. Like, I don't want to keep dealing with this. This is like something I put behind me a long time ago. But they basically wanted to like do damage control because of how it made their brand look or them look. So they wanted to like me to go in a video with them. They wanted me to make a statement that said that we're cool now. And I like didn't feel comfortable with that because I didn't actually feel cool now. I still felt like it wasn't cool. And I still feel like, honestly, on the other side, they could probably get in a lot of trouble for misusing the trademark. You know what I mean? But basically, I was with my buddy Victor and we were talking, and I realized that my ex-stepmom is a narcissist. And a narcissist and like a sociopath. Like, for example, with my ex-stepmom, like, you might be like, what does this have to do with leadership? I kind of explain, because a lot of this has to do with taking responsibility. But my ex-stepmom was a narcissist, or is a narcissist / a sociopath in a way. Basically, if my brother and I wanted something growing up, if we wanted to like go to a band camp tournament or a forensics debate tournament, we had to like, sometimes we'd have to admit that we did things we didn't do in order for us to be allowed to go. And we really had to like avoid my ex-stepmom at all costs in order to like get around, in order to survive in a way. We'd get in trouble for things we didn't even do. We'd have to admit to things we didn't do. And we'd have to admit that we lied about something we didn't really lie about. It was very interesting. A lot of emotional manipulation. But basically what I realized that the way a lot of times that I dealt with my ex-stepmom is that I completely avoided her. And then I never really stood up to her. Well, in the same way, the thing I was telling Victor, I was like, I just don't want to. I'm just going to do this. I just don't want to deal with it. I just don't ever want to have to talk to this person again, blah, blah, blah. And I realized that I was agreeing to too much. I was being too nice. And because of that, that was like I wasn't actually learning the lesson. I feel like when I learned about my ex-stepmom and I did the shadow work back in 2012, I never attracted an ex-girlfriend or someone, a powerful figure in my life as my ex-stepmom, which there was always someone that was similar to my ex-stepmom in my life until I realized this, until I did the shadow work. I had an ex-girlfriend that was like my ex-stepmom, and I had an ex-manager that was exactly like my ex-stepmom. Then I dealt with the shadow work. I became aware of my beliefs, and then I let that go, never had to deal with it again. But now this is in a way just creeping up, like, hey, you're going to deal with this? What I realized is that also my dad still has to deal with my ex-stepmom because they have 2 kids together. But I realized that in many ways, my dad is like, just fuck it. I don't want to deal with it. And he that's his mentality towards my ex-stepmom. And there are times when I'm seeing him against my ex-stepmom, and my ex-stepmom would like lie in court. She would do crazy stuff. And I'm like, Dad, just fucking stand up to her. This is not okay. Like, I know she's lying. I know it's like so much energy to deal with, but stand up to her. And in the same way, I realized that I wasn't necessarily doing that in this situation. I realized that I was kind of being nice, taking the easy way out. So then after that, I changed up the way I was being. And I said, no, actually, you know what? I'm not doing this. And that person just didn't like it. But I could see that then they're like, well, I could tell that they were trying to like manipulate me to do certain things. And I just stood up and was like, nope. It made me aware of my shadow in such a powerful way that then I'm able to apply this, and it made me aware of it in every different area of my life. It made me aware of different areas of my life where I've been nice in the past, where I like say yes to things just because it's like the path of least resistance, or I say yes to things, or I am like really nice about something that I really don't think is cool. And in a way, for like a day, I got kind of pissed off at myself. I could see where I said yes to things I didn't like to do, I didn't really want to do. I could see where I was like not effectively communicating that what is okay, what is not okay. And here's the thing with leaders, that leadership embodies. Now, I know it's 16 minutes in, so now we're really getting into it, but I wanted to share those stories so that you could see how you can actually develop leadership qualities. This isn't something you are born with. Sometimes people go through a rite of initiation. Sometimes people will go through different areas of shadow work. That's what happened to me. But I became aware, and guess what? It was so empowering. I was able to see, like, I don't have to be this way. I don't have to, why do I, here's the thing, when you grow up and you have to please one of your parents by being a certain way, you then start to develop this mentality where any tension at all that you feel, you think is negative. Now, a leader needs to be able to hold tension. If somebody that is a leader says this is okay, you notice leaders are very decisive. They're, yes, this is okay. No, this is okay. I like that. I don't like that. That is also considered very attractive to other people. It's like, oh, this person really lives in their frame of reality. But what I've realized is that in some ways, when you start to mold your reality to someone else's, that's when you're starting to follow. And what I've had to learn is that there were certain areas of my life where I was being kind of nice and not holding that, like, uncomfortable with holding that tension. That happened a couple months ago as well, where I had to have this confrontation with like an Airbnb person that were staying at their house, like an Airbnb thing. And there's something that happened, and I had to like tell them we're not going to stay at their house and this stuff like that. And there was tension. And I was just being really comfortable and present with it because I wanted to be comfortable in the tension. But when you grow up as like, a people pleaser or somebody that had to please, which also sometimes means parent pleaser. If you had to please one of your parents growing up by like being a certain way or acting in line, then sometimes that you develop into a people pleaser later in life. But what a people pleaser does is a people pleaser wants to ease the tension, wants to do something that makes you feel good. Because if there's no negative tension, then they feel like they're safe. Now, the problem is that being a leader means that you can hold tension. It's okay with being polarizing. I've realized that the more I embody my true self and I don't give a shit about what other people think, is the more attractive that my energy is anyways. The more people like my videos, the more people are drawn to them. Because I don't care, that polarization is actually key to growth many times. So part of being a leader is actually being okay with polarizing people. I create esoteric concepts that definitely trigger some people. I've seen people that say, fuck this guy Aaron, he's just like talking about this esoteric concepts. I've seen people that say, where do you know this information from? Like, I get now that my channel has grown, I get a lot of love and I get some hate. Guess what? A leader is okay with that. That is also, I've had people tell me like, what do you do when, you hear negative comments from people? What do you do when somebody doesn't like what you're doing? You hold your frame. You realize this as well. It's a side effect of growth. A side effect of you growing, not just on social media, but you growing as an individual, is you will have some people that like you and some people that don't like you. And the people that don't like you, you're going to find are going to be very, very loud. They're sometimes louder than the people that like you. And the thing that you have to remember is that a lot of times these people that are being very maybe loud and negative, they got a lot of shit going on in their life. They're feeling negative emotion. They're not happy with where they are in life, and that's why they're acting that way. So what helps is you to become aware of that and have compassion, but also to realize that a side effect of growth means that your content or you as a person, if you're being bold in the world, then you are embodying yourself authentically many times. But that means you're also growing. You're also reaching people. I know when a video is going viral when I start to get negative comments on it, because it means it's being suggested to people that normally wouldn't watch it, which means you're going to get people that say, how did this end up on my feed? Well, it ended up on your feed because it's getting a lot of views and it's reaching a lot of people and people are resonating with it, but the ones that don't, may comment that. But that's kind of the idea. Now, here's the different aspects of a leader that I think are very important for people to understand. And I've realized in my life, I isolate back and forth between being a very strong leader and being a kind of a weaker leader. And then I have to wake myself up from the hypnosis in a way. A leader has a vision. A leader has a vision for their life, a vision for what they want to create in the world, a vision for helping other people. A leader has a vision. And when you drop that vision, you'll find that a lot of times the leadership starts to go because the purpose is also normally tied to the vision. I realized that a couple months ago, I was going more into my yin. I was healing some feminine and masculine wounds in my life. That was the theme of 2020 for many of these podcast episodes. And I was learning a lot about masculine, feminine polarity. But one of the things that I definitely have become more aware of is that in order to embody the kind of energy that you want, it's important to have the vision. When I was losing my vision, the vision for me, just to be honest, is very similar to a Tony Robbins style vision in long term. Now, I know Tony Robbins is way established and much older, but that's the vision. I know it's a very big vision. A lot of other people I've talked to have the same vision. It's a very common thing. He's an archetype that represents that kind of energy of doing public events, speaking in front of people. And I feel that's my vision as well. Now, the thing is that for a period of time, that kind of dropped. I was with all this shit going on in the world, I can't do my live events this year like I planned, so it's all kind of put to the side, and I was telling myself a story. And when I lost that vision, I lost that sense of leadership. So the thing I had to remember is to get back on my vision. What is my vision? So now what I'm doing is realizing, hey, I'm going to do virtual events. I'm going to figure this out in one way or the other. And I'm going to do it the way that I can do it. That's the leadership quality. Now, here's the thing. When you have a vision for what you want and you're moving towards it, another thing that's going to be very important for you is learning boundaries. Learning boundaries. Boundaries are actually very important in many areas of your life. They're important in masculine, feminine polarity. Boundaries are important with you attaining your goals. When I first decided to go full-time on YouTube, one thing that I had to do is I would have friends hit me up to hang out, and I was working 40 hours a week at that job that I didn't like, selling women's shoes, and I was working 30 hours a week making YouTube videos in my own time. And what happened is eventually I was I don't have time for this, and I had to be okay with the tension of just hey, come hang out. I was no, I'm sorry, I can't, I'm busy. I've got this vision. And I had to say no. And when you say no, you are saying yes to something else. Anytime you say no, you say yes to something else. So if your intention is to grow your vision, to grow your business, and somebody else and here's the thing, what do you authentically feel like doing? I authentically felt like making videos and staying focused, but there's times, I'm not saying you can't ever go hang out with friends, you can't ever have fun, but be okay with that tension. A leader can hold tension one way or the other. When it snapped me back into the other day, I was the energy completely changed with me talking to that other person that was kind of reminding me of my ex-stepmom in some ways. And I realized I had to stand up and lead and take responsibility and do in a way sometimes we learn from our parents. That was kind of the way my dad was dealing with my ex-stepmom. And that's how I was dealing with that archetype in my life. Now, as I'm aware of it, I take my power back. So boundaries are extremely important, especially in masculine feminine polarity. For the feminine to feel safe in the masculine frame, the masculine must have some boundaries to contain to have a certain type of container. What's okay, what's not okay. Not as some narcissist making rules, but it's for example, the masculine being on their vision, being on their purpose. That is important. If the feminine is no, don't go do your purpose, stay at home with me. And then the masculine goes, okay, I will. That shows weakness. That's why a lot of women many times will shit test men because they're trying to see how strong they really are. It's it's a polarity thing. But the key is to understand that sense of vision is important in masculine and feminine energy as well. Don't think that if you're a woman listening to this, it's like, oh, I can't be a leader. No, this is more of the time with the feminine leaders than ever before. But it's about learning how to be very comfortable with yourself, how to be very authentic, how to be okay with polarity, how to be okay that people don't treat you certain ways, and you have to be okay with that. A lot of this also comes down to self-love. How much do you love yourself? Because if you can love yourself, then you're not going to need the validation of other people. As I was first getting on YouTube, I really cared what people thought of me. I was really looking at the comments a lot. The more confident you become, the less that stuff ripples you and affects you. And that's when you're very much more powerful. So being a high vibe leader is about really being on your purpose, having a mission for something that you want to accomplish, and then being the star of your own movie and on that vision, living that version of you, even if it's not comfortable. And it does require courage. It required courage for me to let go of that old 9-to-5 job that provided me stability for so long. It provided me, I had to embody courage in order to make daily videos on YouTube, even though it wasn't easy, and to put my esoteric ideas out there 3-4 years ago when it wasn't that common to be talking about even the law of attraction. When I got on YouTube, I was one of the, there were other creators, of course, but it wasn't as common to talk about this. Now you look out and there's so many people talk about the law of attraction. There's so many more people online now as well. A leader is also somebody that embodies what they teach. I've met some people before that you would think maybe are leaders, but maybe they don't actually embody what they teach. And I like to think of myself as somebody that definitely embodies what I teach. I'm always learning. I don't claim to be an expert, but I do believe I live according to, I really, the things I tell you and share with you guys, I really do. And I think that that's an important quality as well, is to really live it and to live by example. That's the best way. You don't tell someone what to do. Like a manager may tell someone what to do. It's the idea, but even a good manager, I guess, would be somebody. I used to work at that 9-to-5 job at Barney's, New York, and the managers was complete BS. They had corporate politics and you had to suck up to different managers. It was so stupid. That's why I hated having any manager at all ever. Personally, I used to work for my, I used to sell, it was commission, so that was nice. I could kind of have an effect over my paycheck. But there was one thing that I realized is a lot of them wouldn't live it. They would just say it, do this. This is like dictator. That's not a leader. That's a dictator. So being a leader is also, I think, being compassionate in many ways. I've learned the better leader that I've become, and I'm not even really touching I know that over time it'll be at a completely different level, but one thing that I've definitely become aware of is that the way that I help people is I don't necessarily tell them or give them advice as much as I do anymore. What I do is I ask them questions that get them to a certain answer. So I ask them what there's different questions that you can ask, a different sequence of questions, and that can get people to a certain realization within themselves, which is very empowering. What do you, if somebody comes, when someone on my team is well, how do we do this, or this? I'm what do you think? What do you think would be the best way that we go about this? If we're trying to get this result, what do you think people would like the most about this? Asking certain questions then gets them to feel empowered. So a leader is somebody that can empower other people, somebody that could motivate other people by helping them see the vision when the vision has been lost. I'm now getting ready to invest into something that helps me become very clear on my brand and the vision and the message that I have that I'm sharing with the world, make it very simple, and to understand my exact customer avatar, the person that is listening to my content. Who is this person? Kind of getting everyone that listens to this podcast and understanding more about who that person is. And that clarity, I think, is important for a leader to know. So ways and practical ways you can embody more of that leadership quality is to first off have a simple vision. Have a vision for what you want to experience in your life. Have a vision for what you want to create. Have a vision be the star of your own movie in a way as well. That'll help you gain more of that power. The next thing is to learn to love yourself. Love you for the sake of being you. You don't need anyone else to validate you. You can validate yourself. And the way you do that is you become aware of the rules you have for what it takes for you to be loved, the meanings you have that you gave in the past, maybe that you learned from your parents. Do you need to be in a relationship to be loved? Do you need people to act a certain way for you to feel love? Or can you just love yourself with no reason whatsoever, just because it's who you are? So when you start to unravel the rules, you start to realize that you are love. You give yourself that love. And what you then begin to do is you begin to act with courage. You begin to be bold. You begin to go through your vision. And that as you're focused on your vision, you're focused on being that version of you, what you do is you let go of caring what other people think by understanding it's more about what you think. But even more so than that, it's about having boundaries. What are you saying yes to that you really want to say no to? What are you saying no to that you really want to say yes to? And how can you draw those boundaries so that you are more momentum on that vision? And realize that the only difficult part of really developing that vision is the very beginning stages, because it's before you got momentum. Once you get momentum, it's a wheel that takes care of itself. So if you could just get yourself to like do something every single day that's something you're passionate about, you begin to build it over time, and over the course of a couple months, you have momentum that you can't even imagine, and your life will be unrecognizable in a period going forward. But a lot of being a leader as well is doing your own shadow work, being able to hold tension. It is okay, because if you can hold tension, then that's a sign that you're very comfortable with yourself. And it's gonna help you in so many different areas of your life. But being compassionate is important, asking questions is important, leading by example is important. These are all different qualities, I believe, in a high vibe leader. And how do you make the shift? You simply decide that's who you are. You make the initiation that you're going to go after your purpose. You can make that choice right now. Many people are just waiting for once I go to this live event, then I will give myself permission. Once it's New Year's Eve, then I will do this. A leader does not wait. A leader takes action now. Right now. They just make the choice. This is who I am. I made the choice to go daily on YouTube in February or March of 2017. It was a random time. I wasn't waiting for a specific thing. I just had this realization. I said, you know what? I need to be a self-starter here. It starts with you, and it starts with now. And now more than ever, we need high vibe leaders. We need people to lead the way, because we're going through a transformation of consciousness on the planet. It is time that people wake up and start to embody their purpose, start to embody their mission. As you do that, you're going to find that you start to develop a very powerful magnetic energy. And all this has to do with is you embodying that vibration. So if this message also resonated with you, then you may also be interested in something that I have, where my buddy Victor Otto and I, we train and help people go full-time doing what they love. We've helped many people ditch their 9-to-5 jobs. Many people learn how to go full-time using the power of the internet. So whether you're a healer, you like Reiki, you are a consultant, you want to create content online, you're an artist, anything you like to do that can be done online, we have a simple formula, a process that will show you step by step how to do that I think will completely change your life. And it's easier than you think. You do not need hundreds of thousands of followers. You don't even need a couple thousand followers. You can do it with the right strategy. If I were to know what I did back in the day, if I know what I know now, back in 2017, I would have gone full-time in March. But I waited till August because I didn't know. Literally, it's not the numbers of people you have following you. It's, if you have a message you want to share, if you have a product or a service that you want to provide, we can help you, show you step by step how to do that. All you got to do is go to fulltimepurpose.com, fulltimepurpose.com. And you can join that training. We'll show you step by step how to do it, and we'll help you do that. And every single month we do calls helping people go full time doing what they love. And then there's step by step how to grow a coaching business, step by step how to grow on YouTube, how to grow on different social media platforms. There's a workshop in there on how to grow on TikTok from a buddy of mine that has almost 200K on TikTok. He showed us step by step how he grew his following, how I've grown my following to almost 100K on TikTok from the strategy in literally less than a month. It's crazy. But that's all in Full-Time Purpose. You go to fulltimepurpose.com, check out that training. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you can, also review this on iTunes. It means the world. It really helps the podcast grow. And share it on Instagram, and I'll be resharing people that share this on Instagram stories as well. You can just screenshot this episode and then put a text of what you thought about it. Other than that, I'll talk to you guys later. As always, peace, much love, and namaste.